Hey ladies and gentlemen, Allen here with Corp Nation. Don't forget, join Corp Nation by hitting subscribe so we can continually bring you valuable information for starting, growing, launching, and getting that business happening, right? We're all about empowering entrepreneurs. That's what we want to do. This is a question I get. I want to start a partnership. What do I do? What is a partnership? Well, we talked earlier about what is a partnership within a sole prop. Don't ever recommend it. If you're going to do a partnership, do it within an LLC. Now, number one, it is a separate legal entity, meaning that it's not you. You're not the business. It has its own filing number and entity, right? So it protects you. Now, number two, easy to set up. It's not too hard. If you're going to do a partnership, there's a slight different thing that we file, or a variety of things that we file that are different for the solo entrepreneur because we're adding another member. And then I'm going to talk to you briefly in a minute how to protect yourself from that potential problems with that other member. Now, number three, it's easy maintenance. There's no bylaws, no minutes, none of that stuff to set up. Number four, it has limited liability. So if you get sued, the business gets sued, your personal assets are protected. So that's the benefit opposed to a partnership within a sole proprietorship. Do not do that. But here's the cool thing about that limited liability. Even though you're in a partnership, you could protect yourself from the decisions made by that partner by making yourself the managing member. That means all final decisions must go through you. They can't make decisions without the managing member signing off. That way there's a checks and balances, okay? You're still partners, you still own a company, but at least one person has to make that final say. So I personally recommend that. Now, one of the other things is when it's in an LLC, rather than just a sole proprietor type formation where you just partner together but there's no legal entity, is that you need to set up some kind of parameters, like who's responsible for what, who's going to do what, is there a scope of work generated, so you know who has the authority to do what and when. So I highly recommend that. Now, some cons: you're going to pay higher self-employment taxes than an S corporation, right? I personally recommend that you should do an S corporation. Number two, is that you can be held liable if you don't do the managing member who calls the decisions, because you want to be equal exactly. You can be liable for that person's decisions. So if they buy a piece of equipment or even go out and lease a building without you knowing about it and then they bounce, well, then you're still liable for it. Let's just say they have no money. Well, lawyers aren't going to go after them, but if you own a home and you own assets, then they're going to go after you to try to pay back that stuff because you are liable. All right, so just be careful. That business would be liable. So I just want you to walk through that pathway carefully. Call us if you need help, especially when you want to know in the particular trade or field or service that you're doing, what would be the best entity for you. I just want to give it to you kind of right now. I personally recommend for most type of businesses or service-based businesses, especially, go with the S Corp. You're going to save money on taxes, a little bit more maintenance, but it's better for you. And you can see some of those videos in the links below. So click on those, check on those. Don't forget, we're all about empowering entrepreneurs. You want more info, call us. You are not alone. We'll see you soon.